Well, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish, and that statement could not be more true for my next guest. Despite a bit of a struggle start to his freshman season, he was able to rebound and have a great finish to his freshman campaign. Jeremy Spezia from BGSU Baseball joins me today. Jeremy, thanks for being here.
Of course.
Now, some people may recognize your last name from a different area of BGSU sports. Your brother Tyler played for BGSU hockey for 4 years and was a standout player. What was it like to be able to see your brother go from, middle school hockey, high school hockey, to finally this elite collegiate hockey program?
Growing up, it was pretty cool, to see all the pretty cool teams he played for, playing for Little Caesars, and just being around the atmosphere of hockey and everything, and watching him progress as a human as well as a hockey player was pretty cool. And to see him, to fulfill his dreams, coming from almost not wanting to play anymore to being a professional hockey player now is pretty cool. And just watching him grow overall and everything he's done is pretty cool, especially being so close to him as my brother and watching everything he's done so far.
Now, what a lot of people don't know is Tyler actually, after BG, he went on to play for the Walleye, and he's currently with the Grand Rapids Griffins. From what you hear from him, how's he enjoying the professional hockey life?
He has fun with it. It's a bit of an adjustment not having to do with school, and it's just strictly hockey, and you're doing a lot with that all the time, and you're always doing something. You're doing a lot with the community. You're always at practice, always doing this, and from him getting called up and down all the time, it's he's always doing something 24/7, and just bouncing up and down, it's kind of stressful. But from what I understand, because we talk very, very frequently, is he enjoys it a lot and has a really good time with it.
It's interesting that you and I are having this interview, and interesting that you're actually pitching for BGSU. You had multiple offers at other schools, a couple of Big Ten schools. What made you choose BG over some of the bigger schools?
Biggest reason I chose BG is because, one, it fit me very well, not too big, not too small. I felt as if I could be more of an immediate impact versus if I would have went to a bigger school, I would have found myself to struggle to find playing time. And with my brother being here and just knowing the campus from being around it for so long, I just felt very comfortable. Meeting Coach Schmitz, Coach Shea, Coach Blank at the time, I enjoyed it a lot. They showed me around a lot of the baseball side I didn't get to see while coming here to the hockey games, and I just felt like home, and especially having the ability to have my brother around for 1 year was key for me, and I just felt very comfortable knowing he was here and being around this place for such a long time.
You were originally recruited as a shortstop to a lot of schools. What made you kind of stick to pitching and say, this is what I want to stick with for the rest of my career?
That's actually really funny because I was always put on the mound because I just threw hard, and I've never really saw myself as a pitcher, and I just kind of picked it up, and I just kind of went with it, and I had good stuff, good command, and it was weird to me at first because I was a shortstop, and now when I came here, they're like, you're just going to pitch, and it's kind of a tough adjustment, not playing every day, and going from a school where I did something every day to having to sit the bench was kind of tough. But overall, just the key adjustments I had to make was understanding that you can't do something every day. You can't beat yourself up over it. You got to have a short-term memory, have a bad outing, you got to keep going. Versus being a shortstop, you can if you strike out, you have another at bat. So it's more of a mental side of it. You got to be mentally tough and not fall into the pressure, and just enjoy it while you can and have fun with it.
Do you miss hitting?
Yeah, I kind of do. You always get another at bat, and pitching. Sometimes depending on your role, you have to wait a week or wait a couple games till you can throw again, and it's kind of tough. But I've adjusted pretty well to it, I'd like to say, and I enjoy pitching now. It's good.
So in addition to being recruited for baseball, you actually had a pretty stellar career in high school on the gridiron as well. You had multiple offers for football coming out of high school as well. Why did you want to stick with baseball?
I just felt really comfortable, on the diamond, and that was my true love ever since. I picked it out of the ball up around 6 or 7 years old, and I just, I always liked football, always had enjoyed my time playing it, but ultimately I saw myself more as a baseball player than a football player. Even though I enjoyed playing football, still to this day will miss it, but just saw myself more as a competitor on the diamond.
So since you are now completely a pitcher, a lot of guys have kind of a certain ritual that they do every time they start or every time they're about to go out to the mound. I know you have some initials that you write on your cleats, BWS. Do you want to talk about what that's about?
Yeah, so my dad actually passed away in 2010, and kind of like as a constant reminder, I did it ever since he passed away. I always, before I did anything with my cleats, I'd write his initials on it. So that way if I'm having a bad outing, whatever at the time it was bad, playing in the field, hitting, I'd look down and I'd see his initials. And that was always a constant reminder in the back of my head, like, it's for something other than me. I do it for him. And it's a constant reminder to, you know, never cave in and give up, because, you know, if I were to give up and he was there, he would not be happy with me. So I just kind of, you know, push myself through the hard times, and, you know, it's a constant reminder to be better than I was the day before.
Do you think having his name, or excuse me, his initials on your cleats kind of reminds you that, you know, while this is a game and while this is baseball, that, you know, there are things out there that are bigger than this game?
Oh, 100%. A lot of things are bigger than life. Like I strive to be the man he was, and, you know, that's like a constant reminder too. Is I have a tattoo of it as well, and like every morning I wake up and I see it, and it's like that's who I want to strive to be, is because he was an unbelievable man, and that's what I want to see, and that's what I want my kids to look up to, is have that type of father figure to build off of, and that's what I want to do.
I know your dad was also a huge Patriots fan. Are you kind of getting a little extra motivation now for Tom Brady to get ring number 6? Oh yeah,
you know, we have this big saying in our house. We have an autographed Drew Bledsoe helmet, and when Brady's done, we want him to get it to sign it. But it's just cool, you know, like it's been running in the family forever. I always get called a bandwagon fan, but like, for as long as I can remember, my family's been Patriots fans, and it's pretty cool, you know, to see that guy at being such an old age, just countlessly putting the hours, and see the results he's had in the field, and it just goes to show you, like, you can pretty much do anything regardless of your age. It's pretty cool.
Now let's talk about 2018 for a minute. You had a little bit of a rocky start. Things went pretty poorly for you. It was almost to the point where Coach Schmitz was kind of hesitant to use you out of the bullpen. What do you think went so wrong for you in those first few months?
It was probably the biggest adjustment, one, being so mental on myself. I was a big mental guy, and it was just tough to, you know, get used to not playing every day, all sorts of things. Like having a bad outing, I'd let it just linger in my head, but I've came a long way since then, and, you know, a lot of things just mechanically, I just struggled, you know, just always beating up on myself, and it was just a tough time, you know. It's just tough, you know. College baseball is a completely different game than it was in high school, and you just gotta battle through it and just keep going.
Well, talking about negative things kind of sucks. So why don't we talk about the second half of your season instead? You had a spot start against Youngstown, 3 innings, 1 run, 3 ERA for the game. 4 scoreless innings against a Kent State team that won the MAC handily. Finally, in your 4 last appearances of the year, 14 innings, 7 hits, no runs. What changed for you that took you from the guy who Coach Schmitz was kind of having heart palpitations about bringing out of the bullpen to Coach Schmitz saying, that's my guy, he's coming in?
There was a lot of things, honestly. I felt like I grew up as a baseball player, and, you know, I just kept grinding. That's like the biggest thing, is just keep putting in the work, you know. It's at times you won't really have it, but you just keep going, and the baseball gods will find you. And I was fortunate enough, you know, to put it all together and finish out really strong, and, you know, it was just good time.
Now, there was a big change at the helm for you and the rest of the fellow pitchers on the team. Rick Blank stepped down. Kyle Halleck, former All-American from Kent State, comes in and took the reins. Talk about the difference that he's made for you guys.
There's been a lot Coach Halleck has done. You know, we all extremely, I can say this for the rest of the staff, we've been truly, like, blessed to have Coach Halleck be around. He's just a baseball freak when it comes to anything, mechanics, being in the field even, you know, just he's always picking your mind when it comes to baseball to make you think the right things. And I think as a staff, you know, we're a lot better shape than we were. We think about everything before we do. He's changed guys tremendously for the better. Like, our velocities have jumped. You know, he not only does he make us better on the field, but he makes us better people too, like life lessons as well that comes along with baseball. It's not just baseball with him, it's getting you ready for the real world, the workforce, everything. So he, not just the pitchers, he's changed our team atmosphere. A lot of the guys on our team, you know, we look up to Coach Halleck a lot, and we are extremely fortunate to have him around now.
Let's talk about off the field for a minute. You currently live in a house with fellow pitchers Chase Antle, Damon Agnor, and center fielder Jake Wilson, in addition to a cat and a dog who I know you're both allergic to, but you love it, though. You love being in that house with your teammates, right?
Oh, yeah.
How different of an experience has it been for you? Because, you know, you lived in the dorms, and I'm sure that was great, but now you're living in a house with a couple of your buddies. Has it kind of, you know, changed as far as coming home and seeing those guys after, you know, maybe a tough day on the mound?
Yeah, it's changed me a lot. So living with Chase is always a ride. That kid's a goofball. But, you know, living with those guys and you have a bad day, you go home and you see Chase and he says something to you and it just makes you smile and, like, kind of forget everything. We don't really talk as much baseball in the house because, you know, that's all we do. And it's just kind of nice, you know, to get out of it and get away. And compared to being in the dorms, your neighbors can be really loud. Like, you go home and it's just quiet. And you have those guys around that just make it so much better. And you see the animals and it's like, just makes my day better to see them and smile, even though I'm allergic to the cat. But it's good. I like it. I enjoy it a lot better than the dorms.
Plus, Chase is an easy win when you play him in ping pong. Now, it's come to my attention you have a big claim to fame with the rest of the team. It's a self-proclaimed claim that you have the best fashion sense on the team. Where do you shop? What's your style? Why don't you tell me about how you dress yourself?
Well, I'm the type of guy that will go out to eat or something. I'm always the last one of the house because I like to change 17 times. And, you know, I shop at Lulu. I like to shop at like Gap, Forever 21 Men's, not the girls' side. Good store.
Wasn't gonna question it.
I just wear stuff like that. I like to wear Converse, but, you know, I always get made fun of because I wear, like, tight clothes, and I kind of base my style off of, like, how the Europeans dress, and they dress really well. And, you know, I wear tighter clothes, and Chase always says you have skinny jeans on or leggings or whatever, and it just makes me laugh. But I do say I do have better style than Chase because considering he wears boot-cut jeans, that was in 2001 in style. So,
well, all right, Jeremy. Last question for you. Does this team have what it takes to win a MAC championship this year?
Oh, 100%. We have the guys, you know. The guys up the middle between Riley Minork, RJ, Ryan Johnston, Mike Malowitz, Riley Minork, or Neil Lambert, excuse me. Those guys are phenomenal up the middle, and they just knock everything down with Gama Martinez at third base. Guys a machine over there between the three first basemen we have. Those guys are big monsters that can scoop anything. And behind the plate, with our four catchers with Joe McGinnis, Jeff Scott, Nick Neibauer, and Tyler Haas. They're just a bunch of machines back there that just crush baseballs. And our corner outfielders, and even Jake Wilson is the center fielder as well. Like, those guys can fly and track down a lot of balls. And with our staff being kind of like, I wouldn't say rebuilt, but kind of like retooled, yeah. And we're just, you know, we're going to be dominant on the mound. No, not a lot of walks will be given, I can tell you that. And we're coming ready to play come February 15th.
Season's less than a month away. Jeremy Spezia and the rest of the boys will be ready to go. Jeremy, thanks for joining me.